afternoon, everyone. My presentation today will cover the topics of role of hydrogen, the conventional SMR process, then the switching to the renewable feedstocks, integration with carbon capture unit, and to conclude with a case study discussion. Hydrogen is a colorless, odorless, non-toxic, but highly flammable gas. It is primarily used for hydrotreating process for producing clean fuels, and it is also used for hydrocracking process for producing more valuable lighter products from heavy hydrocarbons, and it is also used in the process other processes like the isomerization process for producing high octane gasoline. Next slide. The most widely, as we all know, the most widely used method for producing hydrogen is the conventional steam methane reforming process using the fossil fuels as the feedstock, such as the natural gas and naphtha. And the methane present in the fossil fuel is reacted with steam in presence of a catalyst to produce hydrogen and carbon dioxide. And in the shift reaction, the carbon monoxide is reacted with steam to produce some more hydrogen and carbon dioxide. The conventional SMR process based on the fossil fuel is the most cost effective and the energy efficient process. However, it also emits lots of CO2, leading to global warming concerns. There are two primary sources of CO2 generation in a SMR process. One is from the syngas and the other is from the flue gas from the reformer furnace. Syngas is the mixture of hydrogen, methane, CO2 and unconverted carbon monoxide. And although for the representation purpose on the sketch I have shown as two generation points, in reality the CO2 present in the syngas is separated in the PSA and it is returned back to the reformer furnace in the form of PSA off gas or the fuel which is used as a fuel, and eventually all the CO2 exits from the reformer furnace. Now, as we all know, the majority of the countries are now looking for have the ambitions to achieve net zero carbon emissions by the year 2050, and as a result clients worldwide are looking for alternate options, and one such option is the use of renewable feedstock such as the renewable naphtha and the off gases which are produced as byproducts from a renewable diesel unit. So renewable diesel unit again uses renewable feedstock such as the vegetable oil and animal fat, and sometimes in combination of both, producing primarily the renewable diesel, but also some byproducts such as renewable naphtha and the off gases, which are in turn can be used in the SMR process to produce green hydrogen. There are two main reactions involved in the RDU, the renewable diesel unit. One is the hydrodeoxygenation reaction and the isomerization reaction. In the hydrodeoxygenation reaction, the oxygen content of the fatty acid is removed and to produce normal paraffins. And in the isomerization reaction, the normal paraffins are converted to isoparaffins, which have better cold flow properties. The RDU in combination with SMR is generally a self-sustainable configuration, that is, all the hydrogen demand of the RDU is met solely by the SMR process, which in turn uses the byproduct from the RDU. And this configuration can also be designed in such a way that there can be excess hydrogen production from this configuration, and which can be supplied to the refinery header, contributing to the overall refinery hydrogen balance. Although strictly speaking, this configuration is not strictly a carbon neutral operation. However, the CO2 emissions from such a configuration is significantly lowered, as a lot of CO2 is also absorbed during the growth process of the renewable feedstock, which are the crops. As a result, it significantly offsets the net CO2 emissions from the operation. Please note that the design of this SMR based on the renewable feedstock is pretty similar to the conventional SMR process based on fossil fuel. So design wise they are pretty similar. And the other thing to note is that the renewable diesel is different from the biodiesel in the way that the renewable diesel is chemically very similar to the diesel produced from the distillation of the crude oil. Hence, it can be directly used as a drop-in fuel, whereas the biodiesel is usually used for blending in the petroleum diesel. Next slide. 1 second. Okay, the carbon. Yeah, this one. The carbon footprint can be further reduced when the combination of RDO and an SMR is further integrated with a carbon capture unit, of course at an added cost. Next slide. Now I'll present a case study which is based on an actual project. There is a 20,000 barrels per day of renewable diesel unit and 56.5 mm SCFD of hydrogen production unit with a carbon capture facility. The renewable diesel unit feedstock is primarily the mixture of vegetable oil and animal fat, and the RDU products are renewable diesel, which is the primary product, and the byproducts renewable naphtha and off gas. Feedstock to the hydrogen production unit are the renewable naphtha and the off gases produced from the RDU, and the HPU products are high purity hydrogen and HP steam. The carbon capture unit was designed to recover 90% of CO2. Looking at the results, the first case is the conventional SMR process with the fossil fuel, wherein you can see that there is around 11 kg of carbon dioxide is produced per kg of hydrogen. Whereas case 2 is the SMR process with using a renewable feedstock, and you can see that the CO2 emissions drops to around 4.3 kg CO2 per kg of hydrogen. This is primarily because the CO2 that was present in the syngas is basically produced from a renewable feedstocks. Hence, if you take the credit for that, then the only net resultant CO2 that is emitted is actually some portion of natural gas that is used as a makeup fuel in the furnace, apart from the PSA off gas. And case 3 is when integrated with CCU, the net carbon intensity can even be a negative. To conclude, the projected growth or the demand for hydrogen is going to increase substantially in the coming years, as has been the case for the past years. And although the conventional SMR process with fossil fuels feedstock is still the most cost effective and energy efficient process, it also emits significant amounts of CO2. And in a quest for sustainable energy, clients are now looking for the alternate options. SMR is one of the major emitters of the CO2 gases, and hence the use of a renewable feedstock in the hydrogen production can impact the environment in a very positive way. And coming to the scalability part, SMR process scalability is generally not an issue. It can be, and it's a proven technology and with number of plants operating worldwide. However, the sourcing of the feedstock can be an issue for the renewable diesel unit, but with focus on diversifying the feedstock and securing reliable supply chains, this challenge can be overcome. Now finally, about Fluor. Okay, I'm representing Fluor Daniel India Private Limited. We have 2 offices in India. Our head office is in Gurgaon, NCR, which has now operational for over 30 years. And recently we opened a new office in Vadodara, which is around 3 years old now. And we have a total force of 1,600 plus employees. And we have the expertise, and both the expertise and the experience to execute projects related to both the conventional SMR process as well as the SMR process in combination with the renewable feedstocks. And we have done projects primarily in the Northern American region. Thank you.
Thank you.